Hey everyone, my name is Brian. I'm 25, and today we're going to talk about marriage. Am I qualified to talk about marriage? I'm not, because I've never been married. I've never considered marriage with anyone to a serious degree. I, I'm genuinely not qualified to talk about marriage. In fact, I don't think many people are qualified to talk about marriage, even if they have been married, because I've spoken to a lot of people who are married currently that have never really put thought into marriage, nor have put in a lot of thought before they got married. In fact, a lot of happy couples that I've talked to just got married because they love each other or they felt the circumstances were right. One of the things that I think is important to start off with regarding marriage is what is marriage? What is marriage by definition? For me, it's a man and a woman loving each other and deciding that they want to spend the rest of their lives together under a holy covenant under my Christian definition of marriage. On a practical perspective, nowadays it seems like it's this ever never ending plight to find this perfect individual to meet every need and have a ongoing list of credentials that they must keep. I don't think marriage really is about finding gems, and this comes a lot from this idea and anecdotal examples that I've seen in front of me that people that tend to marry when they're least qualified, when they don't know that the other person is the one. In fact, many times when people get married young and at an age where the qualifications that they hold might not be the greatest, they tend to last longer and love each other longer. And I think it's because they love each other based on who the other person is rather than the qualifications that they hold, in the low chance that the qualifications go away. In fact, those chances are quite high. I've read studies where high school lovers who are dating each other based on their high school qualifications, such as being the cheer captain or the football king, end up getting divorced at a higher rate because they don't get to keep their social status later on, which actually goes directly against what I just said about not looking at qualifications and looking at the person itself. I think that's why it's important to get married relatively early in your adulthood stage where you are formed as an individual. You know who you are, you kind of know what you like, but the specs, the resume line items on your LinkedIn profile isn't exactly top of the notch, and the person isn't necessarily going for those things. So you don't question whether or not this person likes me for what I have, and am more sure that the person likes me for who you are. So I think it's inevitable that the later that you get married, the higher standards you have, and the less you're likely to venture out and perhaps find someone that might not hit all these points that you're exactly looking for, but actually end up being the love of your life. This is also important because I think having kids is a must within marriage. You need to build your legacy, a joined reason to build together and pass down what you've built to the next generation. I am someone that biasly really likes kids. I've always liked kids when I was young. I love volunteering at churches to be great to them, give them a path forward. But in a selfish way, I think to keep a marriage tight, you need to have a conjoined mission of something that you're investing in together that's beyond your house, your mortgage, a better car. And I think there's nothing better than that, than some being in front of you that looks like both you and the person that made them and also starts acting like you and that person. Of course, I've seen marriages not do very well because of the kids involved, because the kids are a mess. But at the end of the day, I think it's resolving those issues together that makes that a great worthwhile. Important factors for me when I think about marriage, I think having very abstract conversation is something that I've proven to myself after meeting a couple of girls who were very S-like in Myers-Briggs, or people that can only talk about realistic things. Conversation is at the core of relationships. It's what you're going to be spending most of your time with. And I think unless you have a conversational match with whoever you're going to end up living with and spending a majority of your time with, it's very hard to keep up a good relationship with that person, because that person is going to have a hard time with the conversations that you have, and you are going to have a bored time with the conversations they're having if that doesn't match. So I would say the number one priority is the types of conversations and the ableness of conversations you're able to have with that other person. That's something that I am ever more so keen of and aware of as I meet not only the love of my life or girlfriend, but also people in my life in general. I think worldview is essential. Of course, it's great to meet a wide variety of people, to get challenge the things that you believe, and also engage in challenging conversations that further prove that you are more correct, or maybe you degrade and you go towards their belief. But I think when it comes to marriage, you're going to raise a family together, and you're going to want to agree on things that you want to pass on to your kids, and agree on things with each other that you perceive of life a certain way. And I've met people who are not in my worldview, and it's not about tolerance, it's not about phobia, it's more about being able to come together in agreement. And it's a lot easier when you're already agreeing in the first place. I think it's bad to live in this world where it's taboo to only be with people that you agree with. I think that's wrong in a way for friendships. I think it's very important to have a diversity of thought to make sure that you're kept on your toes, that they're also learning. But when it comes to marriage, I highly recommend finding someone that is almost perfectly aligned in your worldview. Of course, it's almost impossible to find, but I think the closer there is, the better. For me specifically, enjoying food, very important. I'm a big foodie, and I think I've met people in my life who don't like food a lot. They're not really obsessed with food. For me, it's a must. So I think finding people that have those necessary things that you spend most of your time with, most of your money with, also happens to align, I think makes a lot of sense, and it's almost a requirement. Along with that, spending habits really need to be aligned. I've dated people with poor attitudes who are sad all the time. They're very negative all the time. I think for me, I can't take that anymore, and I need someone that's positive, that's almost nonchalant, someone that can take in a breeze and handle stress very well. I want to see that not only within my wife, but also with my children, and also for me. I think your wife is an everlasting, or your husband or your spouse is an everlasting partner in your life that allows you to learn. And if you don't have a partner that you can learn from, and if you have a partner that you're also getting degraded from, not a good idea. This is a inevitable elephant in the room. They need to be pretty. For me, looks matter a lot. I think it's lying when anyone says looks don't matter a lot. Yeah, if you have to be at least subjectively attracted to them, this is a weird thing of mine that most guys don't agree with, but I like tall girls. I want a presence when me and my wife walk into a room, just me being weird. And then a last big point that I think a lot of people miss out on is I think it's almost a must and a good for telling sign that they have a good family relationship currently, that their parents treat each other very well, that they have a good relationship with their siblings. They love their parents, of course, through puberty, whatever life stage. Can't be a perfect family, but I think their family relationships is a good sign of how their relationship with you and their parental relationship with your kids, our kids, is going to be. So almost an essential there. I think the three more abstract, less tangible aspects that you need to look at when you look for a spouse, or when you're confirming a spouse, or when you're asking your girlfriend or boyfriend to marry you, it needs to be a person that you love, a person that you can love almost unconditionally. Obviously, we're not divine, so it's hard for us to love people unconditionally, but people that you, for whatever reason, can continue to love regardless of what they're doing. Don't get gaslighted, but you know what I mean. Second, based on the qualifications I said, ideally they make sense. I think it's romantic to pursue things that are seemingly impossible, crazy long distances, contrasting worldviews, harsh family problems. But at the end of the day, I think you will thank yourself as you lean towards something that makes sense. And I think it's okay to believe that there's plenty of people out there that match those make sense criteria. This is me being an over-realistic person. And lastly, one thing that I've been really taking a focus on is you want to marry someone that you're proud of, that you're intrinsically proud of. I'm not saying that they need to be super rich or super pretty that you can go showcase them. Your wife is not your trophy. Your husband is not your trophy. But I think if you have someone that has internal values that you're proud of, that you want to learn from, nothing can beat that. Today, as a 25-year-old, I reflected on marriage. Kind of turned into me talking about what I want in marriage. Hopefully, you guys align on some of those things. If you don't, feel free to comment below and argue against me. Let me know what kind of marriage partner you're looking for. If you're already married, tell me I'm wrong. Thank you guys for watching. Don't know if I'm going to get married anytime soon, but hopefully this is a good video to reflect back on when I'm actually married. As always, I'll see you guys next time. Let's go.